Hello and welcome back to another beautiful live session with me. The name is still Classic Forex and we are here to simplify the complicated. If you just joined in, a very good morning to you. You are all welcome back again to my live session. All right, so if you just joined in, make sure to subscribe to the channel and then don't forget to turn on the bell notification to get notified anytime I upload a new video. All right, so we start dropping your pairs and let's start doing our pre-market or our market analysis like we usually do. Okay, so start dropping your pairs. And let's start with the analysis. Start dropping them, and let's start with the analysis for the day. Let's start with the analysis for the day. Don't forget also to share the live if it's been very helpful and impactful to you as well. All right. So let's start off. Let's start off with the first pair on the list. I'm seeing Order Celestine. Order Celestine is seeing Euro GBP. So let's switch very quickly to Euro GBP and then begin with the analysis very quickly. So Euro GBP is up next by Order Celestine. Euro GBP. Euro GBP. So that's our first pair for the day. All right, so let's get on with it on Euro GBP very quick. Now, Euro GBP, we are beginning the analysis on the monthly time frame. So let's dive into it. Now, the monthly time frame of Euro GBP, we have the monthly upper zone, the mid-range zone, and then the lower zone over here as well. If we look very closely at the monthly time frame of Euro GBP, what do we see? We are seeing a push all the way to the downside, an exhaustion to the upside, and a push all the way to the downside over here. Price went all the way up for exhaustion or retest, and we saw continuational push further to the downside. So if you look closely at the entire structure on Euro GBP currently, price is what? Moving to the downside. So if price is going to the downside, then what do? We only prepare for entries that will take us all the way to the downside. So Euro GBP, let's take it through the weekly time frame and look at how price is falling and how we can also jump into that one for as well. All right, so let's take it further to a weekly time frame for more assistance. All right, so this is the weekly time frame of Euro GBP. On the Euro GBP weekly, we have the weekly upper zone on top and the weekly lower zone below us. So what has price down on the weekly? It has been able to break below the weekly support level to the downside, which tells us that indeed price is dropping all the way to the to the next monthly support level very clearly over here. So like I said on the monthly, all that we're looking for is is the selling opportunities. All right, let's take it further to a daily time frame for more understanding. Okay, so this is the daily time frame of Euro GBP. Now, if we look very closely at Euro GBP on the day time frame, what do we also see over here? We have the daily mid-range zone, and what we can currently see on the daily time frame is a downtrend. Why? Because price has been creating lower lows and then lower highs. Also, very beautiful trend over here to a downside. And I remember we're looking for entry to a downside, which is coming from where? The daily resistance level. So at this daily resistance level, we're looking for selling opportunity to sell all the way back to the monthly support level to go in the overall direction of the market. All right, let's take it further down to 4 time frame and prepare for the entry below the daily support level here downside. All right, let's go. All right, so this is the 4 time frame of UGBP. Let's put meaning into it. Now, UGBP on the 4 time frame, we also see a downtrend as usual. So price broke below this daily support level, went all the way up for retest, it dropped back again, it has gone all the way back. So we're expecting more sell pressure from this daily resistance level to push the market continuously to the downside all the way back to the monthly support level. So UGBP, we are going to put on our coordinates and prepare for entry on this pair. All right, so entry is going to be right there. Stop loss just above here. So this is going to be our setup on UGBP. What are the candle confirmations or what are the confirmations before entry? Now remember, immediately price give us for the candle confirmation, be it a bearish engulfing candle, significant pin bar, or evening star. We are going to pick our entry right from here all the way to a downside on UGBP. So UGBP, this is our full and complete technical analysis. Let's go to a next pair very quick. Next pair in the comment. All right, I'm seeing XAU USD by Oluchukwu Anderson. Oluchukwu Anderson is saying gold or XAU USD. Now, gold, let us also begin from the weekly very quick and then we continue. All right, so this is the weekly time frame on gold. Now, gold on the weekly time frame, we have the weekly upper zone, mid-range zone, and then the lower zone as well. What has happened on the weekly time frame? Let's take our time and understand the weekly structure very well. Now, if we look closely at the weekly time frame, price gave us a push to the upside, higher high. It came all the way down for exhaustion, higher low. What happened next? Continuational push all the way to the upside. and then it has broken above the previous higher high on gold. So the question is, where is continuational push going? Is continuational push going to make contact with the monthly resistance or the weekly resistance as higher high? Or are we going to see price drop all the way from here to a downside to complete higher low? So two questions that needs an answer. Okay, the first question is, would the continuational push, which is what, going all the way up here, be able to make contact with the monthly or the weekly resistance? Or are we going to see sell pressure, which will bring the market all the way down as we test before price goes all the way up again? Let's find out as we go through the various time frames together. So let's take it again to the daily time frame for more understanding. Okay, so this is the daily time frame on gold. Now, gold on the daily time frame, we have the daily upper zone and the daily lower zone. Now, on the daily time frame, it's quite tricky, so we need to understand what price is actually doing over here. Now, on the daily, you could see that what price give us a daily push to the upside. Look at this: higher high, higher low, equal high, equal higher low, and that equal high, and then price dropped all the way to a downside, broke below the daily support level. So you can clearly see that what there was a break below the daily support level over here. But after the break below, price couldn't extend further down. Instead, buyers came in very, very quickly after the break below, and they started pushing the market back to the upside. So the question that we asked on the weekly as to whether price will be moving to the upside or to the downside as we test before it goes up has been answered here on the daily, because now on the daily time frame, all that we see is what is an uptrend, because price has been able to pick buy pressure after it broke below and is moving continuously to the upside. So gold, we are heading all the way to the upside. Simple as that. How are we going to be able to find opportunities to buy on this daily support level to the upside? Let's take it further down to a 4 time frame and then prepare for the entry to the upside on gold. So gold, let's take it all the way to a 4H. All right, so onto the 4 time frame on gold. Now, this is the 4 time frame on gold. Okay, very simple over here. Now, on the 4 time frame, this is the break that we saw on the day time. This was the break to the downside, the retest, but price couldn't extend down. Why? Because it tells us that we are back in the uptrend formation on the daily. So gold price moving all the way to the upside. How can we find opportunities to buy to the upside? Now, let's take it further down to a much lower time frame, so I can explain what exactly is going over here before we pick our entry to the upside on gold. So gold, let's take it all the way to at least, let's say, the 2-hour time frame and check the structure over there as well. Guys, make sure that you are sharing the live to your friends in the game as well. So you have any friend that is also in the Forex game, make sure that to share the link to him or any Forex group, make sure to share the link if you find the analysis that I'm doing over here very helpful. Okay, so gold, we are switching all the way to the 1 hour time frame. Let's put meaning into the 1H time frame very quick, and we find opportunities all the way to the upside as well. Okay, all right, so what has happened on gold 1 hour time? Now, on the 1 hour time frame on gold, price has been able to break about the 1H resistance level of what sensitivity with a push all the way up. Now, after a push, what happens? That's right, retest before what continuational push goes all the way to the upside. So gold, we are expecting retest over here on the 4 hour resistance level of support before it buy all the way to the upside on this space. So remember, price going all the way to weekly resistance, so that's where we are going to set our final target. So gold, this is my full and complete technical analysis. Okay, it's a very simple analysis that we have done over here, and we are definitely going to have our money intact on this one. All right, so this is our full and complete analysis on gold. Simple as that. Simple as that. All right, simple as that. So entry after retest, candle confirmation, and then we buy all the way to the upside on gold. So gold, this is our full and complete technical analysis. Let's go to the next pair very quick. Keep dropping your pairs in the comment section. I will see it and I'll analyze for you as well. I'm seeing GBP AUD by what's the name? Alina John is saying GBP AUD. Let's read very quickly to GBP AUD. GBP AUD, GBP AUD. All right, let's read to GBP AUD and then continue with the analysis. Do I have it on my chat? Let me just see GBP AUD. No, it's not here. Okay, let's find it here. All right, so GBP AUD, let us also switch to the monthly time frame and then begin the analysis from the monthly as usual. All right, so back to the monthly time frame of this pair. Guys, make sure that you are subscribing to the channel if you are new over here. So if you are new, make sure to subscribe to the channel and then don't forget to join the free signals group. The link is in the bio. All right, so this is what GBP AUD on the monthly time frame. Let's explain. Now, the monthly time frame, we have the monthly upper zone and the monthly lower resistance level. Where is it going to? It's going all the way to the next resistance level above. Let me draw it. I don't think I did draw it. Let me draw it all the way up. It's going to be here. Very good. So this is the monthly time frame, able to break about monthly resistance level. So it's heading all the way to the next resistance level of what? Sensitivity. So we can clearly see the amount of buy pressure that was used to break above the resistance level, which is very, very strong. You can see these two who have strong bullish pins indicates that what there are more buyers in the market here on GBP AUD. So price is pushing it all the way to the upside. Now, how are we going to be able to find opportunities to buy all the way to the next resistance level of GBP AUD? Let's take you through the weekly time frame for more assistance. All right, let's go to weekly. All right, so onto a weekly time frame of GBP AUD. Now, this is GBP AUD on the weekly time frame. Let's put meaning into it very quickly. Now, what is happening on GBP AUD? Let me add one more zone over here so that I can explain to you guys for a better understanding. All right, so GBP AUD on the weekly time frame, price what moving in an uptrend. We saw a break above this what resistance level or equal highs. Price give us what a higher high over here. Look at it very carefully. It dropped down and created a higher low. After higher low, what has it done? It has been able to break above previous high. So it's going all the way to the next resistance as the new what higher high. So the weekly time frame is also giving us a clear indication that indeed price is what moving all the way to the upside, right? So it has broken above what the weekly resistance level over here and is heading all the way to the next monthly resistance level of sensitivity. Now, how are we going to be able to find opportunities to buy? Let's take it all the way to a daily time frame. Understand what prices are doing on the daily and how we can manage to pick our entry above the resistance level here to the monthly resistance level above as well. All right, let's go all the way to daily for more understanding. Okay, so this is also the daily time frame of GBP AUD. Now, GBP AUD on the daily time frame, let's put meaning into it. On the daily order, we can see is a break above the resistance level. Okay, now after a break or after a push, we expect to see what a retest or exhaustion before the cycle continues again to the upside. So on the daily time frame, we are waiting for a retest to complete before entry comes in and then we buy all the way to the upside as well. Right, let's take it all the way to the final time, which is the 4-hour time frame, where we can find the opportunity to buy to the upside. All right, so GBP AUD, this is the 4-hour time frame of what analysis. Now let's do the entry. So as I said, we are expecting price to come all the way back as retest or exhaustion before entry comes in all the way to the upside. So if price can drop all the way back to this what yellow zone or the weekly resistance level as well as support, then we'll be able to pick an entry from here all the way to the next monthly resistance level. So GBP AUD, these are full and complete technical analysis as well. All right, let's go to the next pair. I'm seeing USD JPY by Baraka Peter. Baraka Peter is saying USD JPY. Let's go all the way to USD JPY by Peter Baraka. All right, so USD JPY, we are also going to begin from the monthly time frame. Let's dive into it. Now, this is the monthly time frame of USD JPY. Now, USD JPY on the monthly time frame, we have the monthly upper zone, the mid-range zone, and then the lower zone. Let's explain the monthly very carefully so that we can understand where price is indeed going to and how we can pick entry into that direction as well. So price has been able to break what below the monthly middle zone over here to the downside. Okay, let me also explain it in another manner. This was a push to the downside. We gave us what the lower low. Price went all the way back for lower high and it's dropping all the way to the downside as well. It's as simple as that. So both ways are all good for the explanation. So we know that on the monthly time frame, price is heading all the way down to the next support level below because it has been able to break below this what middle zone all the way and it's coming all the way to the downside. Now, if price is dropping all the way to the downside, then that means that we can pick entries to the downside since the move has not yet completed. Now, how are we going to be able to find selling opportunities to sell from here all the way to the downside? Let's take it further to a weekly time frame for more understanding of this pair as well. All right, so this is the weekly time frame of USD JPY. Now, USD JPY on the weekly time frame, we have the weekly mid-range zone. Now, currently on the weekly time frame, price is in an uptrend. Why? Because we are seeing higher high and then higher lows over here. So this is a higher low. You can clearly say this is a very beautiful what uptrend over here. But on the weekly time frame, will buyers be able to push the market continuously to the upside from the weekly support level? Or are we going to see a break below to come all the way down to this monthly support level? Let's find out as we go through the various time frames together. Now remember, we saw that the monthly time frame, the price heading all the way to the downside. So that means that what is in our head or our direction ahead is to the downside. But let's look at what price is doing on the weekly support level so that we can know whether there will be a sell to break below or there will be buyers who have to continuously push the market to the upside. All right, let's take it to a daily time frame for more understanding. Okay, so this is the daily time frame of USD JPY. Now, USD JPY on the daily time, what do we see? We see a downtrend. So this is our daily mid-range zone. Where is the downtrend daily? This was a lower low, this was a lower high, another lower low, another lower high. What should happen next? Continuational push to the downside to continue in the downtrend. So if sellers are able to break below what? The support level of the weekly time frame, by breaking below it, then we can have a free way to start picking our entries all the way to a downside. Okay, so this downtrend that we are seeing on the day time frame is giving us a clear indication that indeed there are more sellers than buyers, and the sellers will be able to break below for us to start picking our entries all the way down. So entries on USD JPY will come below the weekly support level. So after they break below, then we start looking for selling opportunities all the way to a downside. Let's take it again to the 4 time and look at how we can finally pick entries if price breaks below. All right, so this is also the 4 time frame of USD JPY. Now, USD JPY on the 4 time frame, price is also moving in a downtrend. Why? Because it broke above the 4-hour resistance level or the 4 support level to a downside. So if you look closely, this was what the support level pushing the 4 time frame to the upside. But sellers were able to break below it very easily, which tells us that what they are also in control here on the 4 time frame. Like I said, on the day time frame, we are waiting for price to break below, retest before entries can come in all the way to a downside. So entries will come in right after they break below what? The weekly support level. So that we can have a free range to start picking our entries to the downside on USD JPY. So USD JPY, this is also a full and complete technical analysis. Let's go to the next pair very quick. Which pair is up next? GBP AUD has been analyzed. So don't mention GBP AUD again. You can go back and rewatch the GBP AUD analysis. All right, let's go to, I'm seeing NZD CAD and USD CHF. So NZD CAD by who? By Spirit. Spirit is saying NZD CAD. So from NZD CAD, we move to USD CHF. Right, so NZD CAD, what is happening on this pair? Let's find out very quickly. All right, so NZD CAD moving to a monthly time frame. All right, so this is the monthly time frame of NZD CAD. Let's put meaning into it very quickly. Now, NZD CAD on the monthly time frame, we have the monthly upper zone, the mid-range zone, and then the lower zone. Price has been able to break below the monthly mid-range zone and is trading below the monthly what? Mid-range zone also. So if price is trading below, that means that what? There's a great probability that what is going to continuously drop all the way down. Because a break below tells us that what? Sellers are in control. If there's a break below our support level, it means sellers are in control. So NZD JPY on a monthly time frame, price should be dropping all the way to a downside. But is it the final direction? Let's find out by going through the various time frames together and also try to understand what they are also telling us. All right, so let's go to a weekly for more understanding. Okay, so this is the weekly time frame of NZD CAD. Now, NZD CAD on the weekly time frame, we can see a downtrend on the weekly. Why? Let's explain. On the weekly time, we have a weekly mid-range zone over here. What happened on the weekly? Price broke structure over here, gave us what? A lower low, a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, equal lower high, and we are seeing sell pressure coming all the way to the downside. So if you look closely, the last one, lower high of the weekly has formed what? A bearish engulfing candle close. So will sellers be able to continuously push the market to a downside? Certainly, but let's go through the various time frames again to check. You understand? So you need to add more clues and more what? Understanding of the various time frames to be able to determine the direction correctly. But on the weekly time frame, since we're in a downtrend, we are expecting more sell pressure to bring the market all the way to a downside from this monthly resistance level. All right, let's take it further again to the day time frame for more understanding. All right, so this is the daily time frame of USD JPY, NZD CAD, sorry. Now, NZD CAD on the daily time frame, we have the daily upper zone and then the daily lower zone. So on the daily time frame, price is also in a downtrend supporting the overall direction of the market. Where is the downtrend? We saw an uptrend over here, higher high, higher low, higher high again, higher low, but price failed to continue to the upside with the uptrend. Instead, it broke below, giving us a lower low and a lower high. So where should price be moving? It should be moving continuously to the downside. So NZD CAD, we are looking for a selling pressure on the daily resistance level to sell all the way to the next weekly support level. Simple as that. So how are we going to be able to pick our selling opportunity from here to the downside? Let's find out as we go through the various time frame, or we go to the forward time frame. Now remember, before we go to a forward time frame, price has given us what? A bullish engulfing candle close over here. So this bullish engulfing candle close is the retest on the daily, which you should be very, very careful of, because we know that the bullish engulfing candle is a reversal candle. All right, so we're going to be very careful of it, because it can easily push the market from this angle all the way to the upside. All right, so let's take it all the way to a forward time frame. Look at the forward time frame structure and how we can be able to sell on this pair. Okay, so this is the forward time frame of NZD CAD. Now, NZD CAD on the forward time frame, we are seeing an uptrend. Can you see the uptrend on the forward time frame? Let me explain. So if you look closely, price broke above this what? Lower high, and has given us what? A higher high on top. It has dropped all the way back, trying to create a higher low over here. So since price is in an uptrend over here on the forward time frame, we cannot start picking the sells to the downside now. Okay, so you can clearly see that what price has made contact with the daily. This is the daily lower high. We are seeing what? Evening star candle confirmation. Should we sell? No, we cannot sell, because this entire move to the upside was an uptrend. So what are we going to do? We are going to stay focused, wait for it to become a downtrend before we can easily sell. You understand? If it does not become a downtrend, then that means that we cannot sell, because nobody wants to sell when price is moving to the upside. You understand? So you need to see a downtrend before we can also sell on this pair. So how can price give us a downtrend over here on the 4-hour time frame? Okay, so on the 4-hour time frame, I'm expecting something like this. Price will go all the way up, create a double top, come back, break below, retest it, and then we can sell all the way to a downside on NZD CAD. So NZD CAD, this is what I'm expecting before I'll be interested in picking a sell all the way to a downside on this particular pair. Okay, because currently price is what? In an uptrend. So I'll be waiting for it to become a downtrend before I can pick my sell. If price does not become a downtrend on NZD CAD 4-hour time frame, then this setup will become invalid for entry. You understand? All right, so let's move on to the next pair. Next pair is USD CHF by Ugo Vurus is saying USD CHF. Let's go the way to USD CHF. Let's move to USD CHF. Okay, so USD CHF, what is happening? Very great pair. Let's dive into it. So USD CHF, let's go and begin from the monthly time frame. Okay, so this is USD CHF on the monthly time frame. Now, the monthly time for USD CHF, let's put meaning into it. We have the monthly upper zone, the mid-range zone, and then the lower zone. Guys, before I continue with USD CHF analysis, if you haven't joined the free signals group, make sure to click on the link that I've pinned on the live chat to join the free signals group. Okay, and then make sure to also subscribe to the channel if you are new, and don't forget to share the live as usual. Okay, share it on your WhatsApp status, your Instagram status, everywhere. Share it everywhere if you love what I'm doing. All right, so USD CHF, let's dive into it. Now, over here on the monthly time frame, we are seeing strong level of sell pressure on the monthly resistance level. Why? Because anytime price makes contact, it sees sell pressure to the downside, okay? And it doesn't only see sell pressure, there's a reversal candle before the sell pressure sets in, all right? So if you look closely at the first contact over here, price give us what? An evening star. It sold all the way to the downside. The second contact, price give us what? A bearish engulfing candle. It sold all the way to the downside. The third contact, price has given us another bearish engulfing candle. Where is it dropping to? The same thing. It is moving all the way to the downside. So USD CHF, it is very evident here on the monthly time frame that price is dropping all the way to the downside. Now, how can we pick entries to the downside on USD CHF? Let's take it further to the weekly time frame for more understanding. All right, let's go to weekly. Okay, so this is the weekly time frame of USD CHF. Now, USD CHF on the weekly time frame, we have the weekly upper zone and the weekly lower zone over here. Price is currently in an uptrend, but it is now breaking structure to become a downtrend. Let me explain. So if you look at the weekly, this is a higher high, this is a higher low, this is another higher high, and a higher low, double top. Price has dropped all the way down, and we can clearly see now that it is breaking below. So if price is breaking below, then that means that what? We have a free range to pick entries below here all the way down to the next what? Support levels. This is how the cycle is going to be. We are going to definitely see what? A lower low, a lower high, and then we drop all the way to the downside in that manner. So USD CHF, we are picking an entry below the what? The weekly support level to drop down to the next support level below. All right, let's take it down to daily time frame for more understanding. Okay, so this is the daily time frame of USD CHF. Now USD CHF or USD CHF, sorry, on the day time frame, we also have what? This beautiful downtrend on the daily. Let's explain. Let me put the level on very nicely. Okay, so now on the day time, we also see what? A downtrend supporting the broad direction. This was a lower low, this was a lower high. Okay, we saw another low here, another lower high, and price is dropping all the way to a downside. Now, currently on the day time frame, let me take this off. It's not needed. Now, currently on the day time frame, look at where price is. Price is what? Almost on the daily support level. Can we sell to a downside on the daily support level? No. So what are we waiting for? We're waiting for a break below this daily support level so that we can pick our entry all the way to a downside on USD CHF. So USD CHF, let's take it further to the 4-hour time frame and prepare for a final entry on this pair. All right, so this is the 4-hour time frame of USD CHF. Okay, so USD CHF on the 4-hour time frame, we are expecting price to break below, retest, and then we can sell all the way to a downside on this pair in this manner. So this is our full and complete analysis on USD CHF. Okay, so USD CHF, we are done with the full analysis over here. A break below, retest, and then we start selling. All right, let's go to the next pair. I'm seeing US30, but Oluwasem is saying US30. Keep dropping your pairs in the comment section. I will see it and I'll analyze for you. US30. What is happening on US30? Let's find out very quickly. US30. US30. Keep dropping your pairs. USD CHF has been done. I'm seeing NZD USD. I'll get back to it. Okay, so let's go all the way to US30. US30. Okay, so this is US30. Let's begin from the monthly time frame as usual. Let's begin from the monthly time frame as usual. All right, so this is the monthly time frame of US30. Let's put meaning into it. Now, US30 on the monthly time frame, we have the monthly upper zone, the mid-range zone, and then the lower zone. Price is an uptrend on the monthly time frame. We've seen higher high, we've seen higher low, we've seen what continuation push broke above, new high. Will price be dropping down for higher low before it continuously move all the way up again? Let's find out. Okay, so USD or US30, we're looking for selling pressure from here all the way to the downside. Okay, so now we're only looking for selling opportunities because we want to capitalize on the next retest or exhaustion on the higher time frame. All right, let's take it all the way to a weekly time frame and have a closer look of this pair. Okay, so this is the weekly time frame of US30. Now, US30 on the weekly time frame, we have a weekly mid-range over here. What has price done on the weekly? Price has been able to create a double top on the weekly time frame, which signifies what? A reversal to the downside, right? So US30, as I said, we're only looking for selling opportunities that will bring us all the way to the downside, okay? So our first selling opportunity is going to come from this particular area all the way down to the weekly what? Support level. So you're looking for sell pressure on this monthly resistance to drop all the way back to weekly support level. And if price breaks, we continue to pick more sell pressure to the downside in that manner. All right, let's take it again to daily time frame to have a closer look. All right, so this is the daily time frame of US30. Now, US30 on the daily time frame, we have a daily mid-range over here. Price has been able to break below the daily mid-range, which means that we are indeed dropping all the way back to the what? The weekly support level, as we explained on the weekly time frame, right? So on this pair, we're looking for the selling pressure below here all the way to the downside. Now, how can we pick sell pressure below the daily mid-range zone to a downside? Let's take the 4-hour time frame and prepare for the selling opportunity. All right, so this is the 4-hour time frame on US30. Now, US30 on the 4-hour time frame, let me adjust things over here and explain. So if you look at the 4-hour time frame, price is what moving in the range or a consolidation period. Why? Because you've seen what equal level of buy pressure below and an equal level of sell pressure also above. So this is an indication of a range or a consolidation period on the 4-hour time frame. Okay, so how can we sell? We are expecting price to break to give us a lower low, a lower high, and then we can sell all the way down to a weekly what support level, as we have already said or as we have already talked about on the various time frames. All right, so that's it also for US30. This is a beautiful analysis on this pair. Let's go to the next one in the comment section. All right, I'm seeing NZD USD. Someone has mentioned gold. Gold has been done. So Ebenezer Gisco, kindly go back. You're going to see gold analysis that we did previously, right? So go back on this slide, you see the euro or the good analysis. All right, let's go to NZD USD by Primo. Primo is saying NZD USD. Let me go all the way down to see more pairs. Okay, so NZD USD, what is happening on this pair? Let's take it all the way from the monthly. Okay, so this is NZD USD on the monthly time frame. Now, the monthly time frame of NZD USD, let's try and put meaning into it. Price has been able to break below the monthly mid-range zone here to the downside with a push all the way down. Now, where should this push complete on the monthly? The push should be able to complete on the next support level below here as lower low before price goes back to lower high and the cycle continues in that manner. So NZD USD currently on the monthly time frame, we've seen very clearly that there's more sell pressure bringing the market all the way to the downside or to this support level below. Now the question is, how can we find selling opportunities all the way down to the support level to complete the lower low on the monthly? Let's find out as we go to the various time frames together. So NZD USD, let's take it all the way to a weekly. All right, so this is the weekly time frame of NZD USD. Now, NZD USD on the weekly time frame, we have the weekly upper and the weekly lower zone. Price is in a downtrend on the weekly time frame, supporting the overall direction. All right, so if you look closely on the weekly, this is what lower low, this is lower high, another lower low or equal low, another lower high. Where should price go next? Continue the move further to the downside. So if you look closely, after price even made contact for a second time on this weekly resistance level, it has given us an evening star candle confirmation, affirming that there's more sell pressure in the system to push the market continuously to the downside. So how can we pick sells? Let's take it again to the daily time frame for a closer look. Okay, so this is the daily time frame of NZD USD. Now, NZD USD on the daily time frame, we have the daily upper zone and then the daily lower zone. Price has given us a double top on the daily. It broke below the double top, giving us what? A lower low. After lower low, we are expecting lower high before we can sell all the way to a downside on NZD USD. So NZD USD, we are expecting what price to go all the way back to retest the daily resistance as lower high before sell pressure will come in all the way to the downside. Now, before price makes contact with this resistance level as lower high, can we pick buys to that level? No, we cannot pick buys to that level, and I will show you why. Okay, and when we can decide to pick buy on that. Let's go all the way to a forward time frame. So remember, keep it in mind that we are expecting price to go all the way up before we start selling all the way down. Let's take it all the way to a 4 each. All right, so this is the forward time frame of NZD USD. Now, NZD USD on the forward, remember on the daily, we said we are expecting price to go all the way up here before we sell all the way down. Okay, so I asked the question, are we going to be able to pick buy pressure from here to go all the way up since you know that price going there? No. Why? Because on the forward time frame, we are in a downtrend. Where is the downtrend? Price goes below what? The 4-hour support level to give us a lower low, a lower high, we have equal over here. So if you are picking buy pressure from here, it is wrong because we are in a downtrend. So we are expecting, or we are going to wait for price to go all the way up, break about the resistance level of the forward time frame to give us a push. And once price makes contact here, that is where we are going to be looking for selling opportunities all the way down. So NZD USD, no matter what, we are going to wait for price to complete the retest before the entries can come in all the way to a downside. This is where you should be selling ideally or technically. You understand? So you want price to get there before we start selling. If it's going to take days or weeks, we are going to wait because that is where we are supposed to be selling. So it's all about patience in the game before you pick your entry. So that's it also for what? NZD USD. We were waiting for price to go all the way back to retest the daily resistance as lower high before we can start looking for selling opportunities to sell from here to the downside on NZD USD. So NZD USD, this is our full and complete analysis. Let's go to the next pair. Let's go to the next pair. Someone said, will all this signal be dropped in the VIP signal because of we that don't I can't read. Will all this signal be dropped in the VIP signals because we that don't have time to be checking the chat? Okay, I get you. So some of these signals will be sent into the VIP, some will also be sent for free. Remember, I give one signal each and every week in the free signals group. So if you're in the free signals group, you have what? One signal every week, okay, for free. Okay, apart from the ones that I'm giving you guys over here. When it comes to what? The group officially, I give one free signal every week, and the rest goes to the VIP. All right, let's continue. Next pair in the comment. Next pair. Okay, I'm seeing Euro card by Amesta FX. Amesta FX is saying Euro card. Keep dropping your pairs. Keep dropping your pairs. Euro card. Let's get into it. So what has happened on Euro card? Let's find out very quickly. So Euro card, we are going to take it all the way to a monthly. Begin for the monthly. Analyze your 4 hour before you pick our entry. Okay, so this is Euro card on the monthly time frame. We have the monthly upper zone, the mid-range zone, and then the lower zone. What do you see here on the monthly? Price has been able to break above the monthly resistance level to the upside with a push. So we're expecting this push to go all the way to reach the next resistance level above. But let's take it through the various time frames and understand how we can potentially be picking buys above the resistance level of the monthly to go all the way to the upside on UCAD. So UCAD, let's take it all the way to the weekly time frame for more understanding. Okay, so this is UCAD on the weekly time. Now UCAD on the weekly time frame, we can still see the break above the what? The monthly resistance level. And as I said, we're looking for more buying opportunities above here to go all the way to the upside. So the weekly is not giving us so much information to talk about. So let's take it all the way again to the daily time frame for more understanding. But before we go to daily, let me bring this level all the way up here on this weekly resistance. So this is a weekly resistance level, and we need a level over here. So currently, price almost breaking above the resistance level for us to have a free range to go all the way to the upside. But let's take it all the way to daily for more understanding. Okay, so this is the daily time frame of EuroCAD. Now EuroCAD on the daily time frame, let's put meaning into it as well. Let's take this off. It's not needed anymore. Take it off. Okay, so EuroCAD on the daily time frame, we can see the break above the weekly resistance level very clear. So this was a strong level of sell pressure, but price has managed to break above it. So entries are coming in above here to move all the way to the upside. Let's take it again to the 4 hour time frame and then prepare for buys. Right, so this is the 4 hour time frame of UCAD. Now UCAD, what are we waiting for? Waiting for what? Retest before entries coming all the way to the upside. Okay, but before the retest, we need to see what? A very good push to the upside. Price will go up a little bit more to create a higher high, then drop for higher low, and we can start looking for buying opportunities all the way to the upside. So UCAD, this is why we're expecting a push to the upside, which will give us a higher high, a higher low as expected before entries comes in all the way to the upside. Why? Because on the 4 hour time we are seeing what? A beautiful uptrend over here. So this is a push, exhaustion, waiting for the same thing again, another push, another exhaustion, and then we move all the way to the upside in that manner. So UCAD, this is also a full analysis. Let's go to the next one. I think NZD CAD has been done, or haven't we done it? Okay, let's go to CHF JPY by Baraka Peter. CHF JPY. From there, I'll move to NZD CAD and CAD JPY for you. Okay. So what is the next pair? CHF JPY, CHF JPY, CHF JPY. Okay. So this is CHF JPY. Now CHF JPY, as you can clearly see, I'm looking for a selling opportunity. But why am I looking for a selling opportunity on CHF JPY? Let me take my time to explain. So CHF JPY, let me take it all the way to a monthly time frame and then begin for a monthly as usual. So this is the monthly time frame of CHF JPY. We have the monthly upper zone, the mid-range zone, and then the lower zone. Price has made contact with the monthly support level. Now, after making contact, are we going to see buy pressure reverse the market to the upside, or are we going to see sell pressure continuously push the market down? These two questions are going to be answered as we take you through the various time frames. All right, so CHF JPY, let's take it all the way to the weekly time frame for more understanding. Okay, so this is CHF JPY on the weekly time frame. Let's explain. So on the weekly, we have the weekly upper zone and the weekly lower zone. Price has been able to break below the weekly support level here to the downside. We also have what a bearish engulfing candle close right here, indicating that there's more sell pressure or there's more sell in the system. So if there's more sell pressure in the system, then we are expecting price to break below to continuously move further down. So the question that we ask on the monthly, whether price will move into the upside as reversal or continue the move all the way down, has been answered here on the weekly. But let's take it further to daily time frame to add more explanation. All right, so this is the daily time frame of CHF JPY. Now, CHF JPY on a daily time frame, price is also moving in a downtrend. All right, so you've seen lower low, we've seen lower high, we've seen lower low again, we've seen lower high, we've seen equal low. All right, so we're expecting this downtrend to continue by breaking below so we can find selling opportunities to sell all the way to a downside. So let's take it all the way to a 4-hour time frame, understand what exactly is going on over here on the 4-hour time frame before you can start looking for selling opportunities all the way down on CHF JPY. So CHF JPY, let me take it quickly to the 4-hour time frame to explain the entry. All right, so this is the 4-hour time frame, and this is the entry that we expect. We're expecting price to break below before we can sell all the way to a downside of this pair. Now, what has happened on the 4-hour time frame? On the 4-hour time frame, price is moving in a range or a consolidation period. Why? Because there's equal level of buy pressure over here, and there's also equal level of sell pressure above as well. So this gives us a range or a consolidation period. So we're expecting this range or consolidation to be able to break below, give us a new lower low, a new lower high, and then we can sell all the way to a downside. So CHF JPY, if price manages to drop all the way down and break below the range, then we can sell all the way to a downside. If price doesn't break below the range, then this setup becomes invalid for entry. Okay, because we know that there's not sell pressure enough to continuously push the market to a downside on the 4-inch. Okay, so we're expecting price to break below the 4-hour range before we can start looking for entries to a downside. All right, let's go to NZD CAD by Uche. Uche is saying NZD CAD. Let me see. All right, so NZD CAD, we've done it. We've done the NZD CAD. Where I said I'm expecting price to break below, retest before I can sell it. So NZD CAD has been done. Let's go to CAD JPY instead. So Uche, we are going to CAD JPY. If you want NZD CAD, go back and then rewatch the previous NZD CAD for analysis over there to watch it. All right, let's go to the CAD JPY very quickly. CAD JPY. Let me see if I can see more pairs. Okay, there are a lot of pairs mentioned over here. I'll analyze all of them. But let's finish with CAD JPY. What is happening on CAD JPY? Let's find out. Now, CAD JPY, on the monthly, we have the monthly upper, the mid-range, and then the lower zone. Price has been able to break below the what? The monthly middle zone with a push to the downside. We gave us a lower low. After lower low, we expected to see what lower high had happened, and then price is moving continuously to the downside. So the sub emanating from this resistance level is coming all the way back to the monthly support levels, which means that what? CAD JPY, we should be looking for more sell pressure to come back to the monthly support level. So how can we look for sales to this monthly support level? Let's find out as we go through the various time frames together as usual. All right, let's go to a weekly. So onto the weekly time frame of what? CAD JPY. This is CAD JPY on the weekly time frame. We have the weekly mid-range zone over here. Price has been able to break below the weekly mid-range zone with a push all the way to a downside. Where is the push ending? On this support level before what? Retest, and then the cycle may continue to a downside. But currently, we are expecting this sell pressure to drop all the way to the monthly support level. All right, let's take it further to the daily time frame where we can add more meaning. Okay, so this is the daily time frame on CAD JPY. Now, CAD JPY on the daily time frame, we have the daily what? Mid-range zone over here. Price also moving in the downside on the daily time frame. You saw lower low, lower high, equal lower high. Price was broken below, heading all the way down to the support level as lower low as usual. All right. So as I said, we're looking for a selling pressure from here all the way to the monthly support level. So how can we pick a sell opportunity right here to the downside? Let's take it to a 4-hour time frame and then finish it up completely. Right, so this is the 4-hour time frame of what? CHF JPY. Let's bring this all the way here. Very good. So on the 4-hour time, what has price done? Price has been able to break below 4-hour support level value with a push to the downside. After a push, what happens next? Retest or exhaustion. After exhaustion, continuation push further down. So CHF JPY, if price manages to go all the way up to complete the retest as lower high, then we can start selling all the way to the downside on this pair. So this is going to be a quick out opportunity because the target is not that long. So it's going to be a quick out. After entry, then we see price drop all the way back to this level. Okay, very short move, and then we make our money out of it and go away. So that's it also for what? CAD JPY. Let's go to the next one. Next one. The pairs are many. Okay, I'm seeing GBP USD. I'm seeing Germany 30. Okay, GBP USD, GBP USD, GBP USD. Okay. Which one should I even take? Okay, we have BTC USD. So okay, so GBP USD and BTC USD up next. All right. So oh, hold on, let me check gold. Good, I should be able to pick entry on it. Let me check the gold. Let's go to our 1 hour. Okay, it hasn't retested yet. I have to keep checking it so that we can pick entry on it. So let's go to GBP USD. What is happening on GBP USD? Let's take it from the monthly. Now, this is GBP USD on the monthly time frame. We have the monthly upper zone, the mid-range zone, and then the lower zone. What aspires down on the monthly, it has been able to break below the monthly support level to a downside, giving us a lower low. After a lower low, what happens next? Lower high, before it will drop all the way to the downside on what? This pair. But the lower high on the monthly has not yet completed. It is still in the motion of completing. So what are we going to do? We are going to first of all capitalize on that move before it completes on the monthly, and then we start looking for selling pressure all the way down. So GBP USD, let's take it again to a weekly time frame for a closer look. All right, so this is the weekly time frame of GBP USD. Now on the weekly, we have our weekly mid-range zone. Price is now moving to the upside on the weekly, but initially it was in a downtrend. But since it has been able to break below the mid-range zone, it means that we are heading all the way up. Why did it break above the middle zone of the weekly? Because it is going up for the monthly retest. So it was necessary for price to break above it to continue going up. You understand? So when you understand the dynamics and how the communication of the time frames is done, you realize that every move of the market has a reason. There's no move in the market that doesn't have any reason. Okay, there's always a technical reason behind every move. You understand? So you need to take your time and read it to understand. All right. So on the monthly time frame, on the weekly, price going all the way up to do what? On the weekly, it's going to create what? A higher high. But on the monthly, it is going to create a lower high. That's the communication. So where are we heading to? We are heading all the way to the next resistance level. Can we pick buying opportunities to that level? Yes, of course. That's exactly what we are doing. So let's take it again to the daily time frame. Understand what price is doing here on the daily before entries to come into the upside on GBP USD. So GBP USD taking it all the way to daily. Okay, so this is the daily time frame of GBP USD. What has price done on the daily? It has been able to break above the daily resistance level. So on the daily, you can clearly say what we are in an uptrend. This was a break above, higher high, higher low. We are heading all the way to the upside. So since price has been able to break above the daily resistance, then we can pick entries to go all the way to the upside. Okay, and we can also see a morning star candle confirmation over here, which is a clear indication that there's more buy pressure in the system to push the market continuously to the upside. Let's take it again to the 4 hour time frame and prepare for the entry to the upside on this pair. All right, so this is the 4 hour time frame of GBP USD. Let's bring our resistance level on the 4 hour time frame for a better explanation. So what has happened on the 4 hour? Price has broken above the daily, giving us a higher high. We've seen high low, and we're about to see what? A break above to continue the move. So if price breaks above, there are two ways. If price breaks above this resistance level with a push, then wait for retest, and then we buy all the way to the upside. If price does not break above, and instead it sees sell pressure, comes back to this area, we also buy from here all the way to the upside, the same thing. So this is our full and complete analysis on the GBP USD. Okay, either it break above the resistance for us to sell on the retest, or price retest now on the daily support, and we also buy the same thing. Let's go to BTC USD. So BTC USD, I did analysis. I think we had an analysis on pre-market analysis. I told you guys the price was going to go out for retest and then later sell. Okay, and it has done exactly that, but I haven't found entry yet. But let's go through it again and then know how things are moving over here on BTC USD. So BTC USD, we have the monthly upper zone, the mid-range zone, and then the lower zone. Price is in an uptrend on the monthly time frame. We've seen higher high, we've seen higher low, we've seen another higher high again. What is going to happen? Another higher low before price goes all the way up. How sure are we that price will come back for higher low? Because we are seeing a bearish engulfing candle close. Let me get some water over here. We are seeing what? A bearish we are seeing a bearish engulfing candle close over here, which is what? A clear indication that indeed we are going to see sell pressure bring the market all the way back to retest as higher low. So GBP or BTC USD, we're looking for more selling opportunity to sell all the way back to this level. How can we pick the sell? Let's take it all the way to the weekly time frame. Okay, so this is the weekly time frame of what? Of BTC USD. Price has been able to break below the weekly support level to the downside, which means that indeed we are definitely seeing more sell pressure to bring the market all the way down. So how can we pick the sell to the downside? Let's take it again to the daily. All right, so this is the daily time frame of BTC USD. Now BTC USD on the daily time frame, we've seen what? This is a daily mid-range zone. We've seen lower low, bring the market all the way down, lower high. What should happen is continuation of the move. No, after lower high, we can even see a bearish engulfing candle close, which means that again there's more sell pressure to push the market all the way back to the monthly support as the higher low. So we are looking for the selling opportunity somewhere around here to sell all the way to the downside of BTC USD. But let's take it further to a 4-hour time frame and then prepare for the entry to the upside, to the downside, sorry, to the downside. Okay, so this is the 4-hour time frame of what? BTC USD, and this is how I've what? Made up my setup. So let me explain the 4-hour time frame to you. So we have a 4-hour mid-range zone. Okay, so when price broke above and went for the weekly retest, okay, we couldn't see any form of what? Sell pressure to bring the market. That's why I didn't guys any selling what or any entry on this pair on the weekend, okay, or probably on yesterday. Why? Because this was what? It's a whole higher high. This was also a higher low. So there could have been buy pressure from here to push the market up. That's why I didn't give you guys a sell. But price has now been able to break below the support level, which gives us what? A downtrend now on the 4-hour. So if you have a downtrend on the 4-hour, then what are we expecting? We're expecting what? To pick our selling opportunity because we now have what? The downtrend. So this is a push to a downside on the 4-hour. This is going to be lower low. Price should go up for lower high, and they start looking for selling opportunities all the way to a downside. So BTC USD, this is exactly what I'm expecting before I pick my entry to the downside of this pair. Okay, it's all about patience. It's a patience game, and all that we need is to wait for things to play out technically before we can. So remember, we are technical traders. Okay, we do analysis based on technicality, not based on fundamentals or any other thing else. Okay, it's all about technicals. Technical is what we are good at. That is where we are going to make our money. All right. So I'm expecting this area to become the lower low, this area to be the lower high, and then we sell all the way to a downside. It's all about patience, and then we make money out of this. Okay. Yes. All right. So that's it for BTC USD. Let's take it again to the next pair. So BTC USD has been done. Which pair is up next? I'm seeing USD CAD by Cyril. Cyril is saying USD CAD. I think I also mentioned GBP CAD somewhere. Let's first do the GBP CAD, okay? Okay, I'm also seeing US oil. I saw GBP CAD somewhere. I can't find it anymore. All right, let's go to USD CAD. USD CAD. Okay, so USD CAD, what has happened on this pair? Let's take it all the way to the monthly. All right, so this is USD CAD on the monthly time. Let's put meaning into it. Okay, so we have the monthly upper zone, the mid-range zone, and then the lower zone below over here. What has price done? Price has been able to break above the middle zone of the monthly, which was what? This equal highs to the upside, giving us what? A higher high on the next resistance. But will price be able to drop down for higher low before it continues to the upside, or are we going to see buy pressure continuously move the market all the way up? Let's find out as we take you through the various time frames together. All right, so USD CAD, let's take it all the way to the weekly time frame for more understanding. All right, so this is the weekly time frame of USD CAD. Now, USD CAD and the weekly time frame, what do we see over here? We see a push to the upside, high, we see exhaustion, higher low, we see continuation push. So the question that we ask on the monthly, whether price will drop all the way back for retest before it goes up, or whether buyers will see more buy pressure to push the market up, has been answered here on the weekly. So since the weekly is giving us an uptrend, that means that what? Buyers are in control. We are pushing the market all the way to the upside. So USD CAD, we are looking for what? More buy pressure to push the market back to the next what? Resistance level of the monthly. Over here on the weekly, we can even see what? A morning star candle confirmation over here, which is an indication that there's more buy pressure here on the weekly. Let's take it again to the daily time frame. Okay, so this is the daily time frame of USD CAD. How is price going to move to the upside on the daily? Let's explain. On the daily time frame, we have the daily upper zone and the daily lower zone. Price was initially in the range. Let's explain this whole structure here on the daily for a better understanding. Price was initially in the range for a consolidation period over here, right? And then there was a break below the consolidation, which gave us a lower low. Later, we saw lower high, but sellers couldn't push the market continuously to the downside. Instead, buyers came in again and then broke above the resistance level all the way to the upside, giving us another push on the daily. So after a push, what happens next? Exhaustion before continuation push all the way up. So USD CAD on the daily time frame, we are going to be expecting price to drop back here at higher low because we now see higher high. After that, we should be able to see buy pressure move the market all the way to the upside in this beautiful manner. So USD CAD, I'm expecting more sell pressure to bring the market down here before we be able to buy to the upside. Okay. Now, someone may ask, Classy, can we pick sell pressure from this one resistance level all the way down here before we look for what? The buying opportunity to the upside? Yes, it's not a bad thing. It's a very good thing because over here we can see what strong level of sell pressure on this daily resistance. So this level is what? It's a very strong level of sell pressure. So we can indeed look for selling opportunity before buying opportunity. All right, so let's go and check out if we can look for selling opportunity before the buying opportunity comes into the upside. All right, let's go to a 4 hour. Let's move to a 4 hour. Okay, so this is the 4 hour time frame of USD CAD. Now, USD CAD on the 4 hour time frame, let's explain. So let's bring 4 hour levels before we can explain this pair. Right, so this is the 4 hour time frame. On the 4 hour time frame, what are we seeing over here? We saw higher high, number one, higher low, equal high, equal higher low. Price went all the way up, created a new higher high, a new high low, but it couldn't move again to the upside. Instead, it is broken below to give us what? A lower low, a lower high, and probably sell all the way to a downside in this manner, right? So USD CAD, there are two ways that we are going to be expecting a sell. Number one is that if price drops all the way down here, it will become a lower low. If it goes back for retest lower high, we can sell all the way down. But if it doesn't play in that manner and then it breaks below the support level of the 4 hour time frame, which will also be what? Another lower low here, another lower high, we can sell all the way to a downside. Okay, but remember, this is the overall buy. That's the most important buy that we're expecting. Okay, so if price breaks below, we can sell below here to this area before the overall buy pressure comes in to the overall direction of the market. Okay, so that's it also for what USD CAD. But for now, USD CAD is dropping. It's supposed to drop. It has to drop. You understand? Because technically it should be dropping, and it is dropping. It has to drop. So that is it also for what? For USD CAD. Someone asked, why don't we pick our sell over here to a downside? Because we can see triple top. Yes, I don't enter trades on what? Reversal patterns. Okay, I enter trades on push and exhaustion cycles. You get it? So there's a difference. You get it? So you must know the kind of trader that you are, which correspond with the kind of entries. You get it? If you are somebody who is more into what? Picking reversals, then you go with the triple tops and the double bottoms. Okay, but if you are someone who plays with the continuation of trends, then you go with what? The break and retest, you know, those kind of things. All right. So that's it also for what? USD CAD. Let's go to the next pair. All right. I'm seeing US oil by Odo Celestine. US oil. What do you? Okay, so US oil. There's not so much opportunity over here, but let's try and see if we can get something out of it. Okay, so we have US oil over here on the monthly upper, monthly lower zone. Strong buy pressure from the support level, strong sell pressure from resistance level. All right, now on the monthly time frame, price has dropped back to the monthly support level over here. Are we going to be able to see buy pressure again to push the market to the upside, or for this time around, sellers are going to be buyers by breaking below? Two questions. Will sellers be able to break what? The strong support level below, or are buyers going to come in again and push the market up? Let's go again to the weekly time frame for more understanding. Okay, so on to the weekly time frame. This is the weekly time frame. On the weekly time frame, we have the weekly mid-range zone over here. Price move from the resistance all the way down here. I think we've explained this so many times on this particular pair, but let's get it again. So on the weekly time frame, strong level of buy pressure. And like I said, are we going to see buy pressure pick the market up again to push it up? Or are sellers going to be able to break below? That question has not yet still been answered. So let's take it again to the daily. All right, so this is the daily time frame of US oil. Let's take it off. The zones are many, not needed. So the daily time frame, all that we can see now is a downtrend. Okay, so we have our lower low, lower high, equal lower high, price break below, new lower high. It is still dropping. So this daily downtrend tells us that what? There's a high probability that price will be able to break below. Because on the daily, we are still seeing what? A downtrend, although price has made contact with a strong monthly support, but we are still seeing a downtrend. So if this downtrend continuously go down and breaks below, then we can be selling. Okay, so let's take it again to the 4 hour. All right, so on the 4 hour time, we're also seeing the exact same thing, a very beautiful downtrend. But for now, we cannot pick what sells or buys because we don't have any sign of what buying pressure to push the market up. And the sell pressure or the sell opportunity has also not yet set in. Because for us to be able to sell, there should be a break below. Okay, so we can neither sell nor buy. If you want to sell, price should be below. And if you want to buy, there should be a break of structure. That's it. But both of them has not happened yet. So US oil, there's nothing to talk about. Okay, leave it for now. We'll come back to it later on when everything is okay in terms of structure, direction, and all of that. All right. So let's go to the next one. GBP CAD by Gohi. GBP CAD. I think we've done GBP CAD. Okay, we haven't done it. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. So GBP CAD, let us also begin from the higher time frame. Okay, so this is GBP CAD on the monthly time frame. We have the monthly upper zone, the mid-range zone, and then the lower zone. Price is in an uptrend on the monthly time frame. You've seen a push, you've seen exhaustion, continuational push is happening. So continuational push has been able to break above this resistance level and is heading all the way to the upside. Now, how can we pick buys to the upside on this pair? Let's take it all the way to a weekly time frame for more understanding. All right, so this is the weekly time frame of GBP CAD. Now, GBP CAD on the weekly time frame, we also see what a clear break above the monthly resistance level to the upside. So apart from this break, there's nothing to talk about over here. Let's take it again to the daily time frame. All right, so this is the daily time frame of GBP CAD. Price has also been able to break above the daily resistance level strongly to the upside. There's nothing to talk about here. So what are we waiting for on this pair? We're waiting for a retest before we go all the way up again. All right, so a clear retest should come all the way back to retest this what? Monthly resistance and support before buy pressure will come in and push the market all the way up again. Let's take it again to the what? The 4 hour. Remember, we're waiting for the retest where on this level before we can buy. Okay, let's take it all the way to a 4 hour. All right, so this is the 4 hour time frame of GBP CAD. Let's take this away, no longer needed. All right, so on the 4 hour time frame, what are we expecting? Like we said, on the higher time frame, price should drop all the way back to retest this level before entry comes in all the way to the upside. So GBP CAD, this is our full and complete analysis. Once price is able to come back to retest this area, then we can start looking for the buying opportunities that we need to move all the way to the upside as well. So that's it also for GBP CAD. We are done. We are done. Let's go to the next one. Guys, we're going to end the live session very soon. I think the time is up. Our 1 hour live every day is up. The 1 hour is up. But let me see if I can add one more pair. I'm seeing GBP CHF. Let's check out GBP CHF. If there's a good entry, I'll analyze. If I don't see any particular entry, I'll leave it and go to another one. Okay, there's an opportunity. Let's try it out. So GBP CHF, let's go all the way to the monthly. And then begin from the monthly. Okay, so this is the monthly time frame of GBP CHF. So GBP CHF by who? By Young Dapu. Young Dapu. Okay, so Young Dapu is saying GBP CHF. Now GBP CHF, we have the monthly upper zone, the mid-range zone, and then the lower zone. Now, if you look at the entire structure, we are in a downtrend. So what are we looking for? We're looking for selling opportunities only. All right. Now, price over here on the monthly time frame gave us a push, exhaustion, and a push, under exhaustion, under push again, and then under exhaustion all the way up. So the question is, will this exhaustion currently on the market be able to make contact here before it drops, or a seller is going to come in and push the market from here to a downside. Let's find out. Let's find out as we go through the weekly together. Let's go to weekly. All right, so this is the weekly time frame of Gbpusd. Now, Gbpusd on the weekly, we have the weekly upper zone and then the weekly lower zone. Currently, on the weekly time frame, price is moving in a range or a consolidation period because there's buy pressure below horizontally and a sell pressure above horizontally. So, if we are in a range of consolidation period on the weekly, and we're also looking for what selling pressure in the overall direction of the market, then that gives us an opportunity to look for sell pressure on the resistance level back to where? To the what? Resist support level below. So we are first going to capitalize in the range or the consolidation period first here on the weekly. Why are we capitalizing on the weekly range? Because it is a higher time frame range or a higher time frame consolidation, not a 4-hour range of consolidation. If it was the 4-hour or the daily, we would have ignored it. But since it's the weekly, it carries a lot of gem. It carries a lot of weight. Okay, so we're looking for sell pressure on this one resistance level of the weekly to sell all the way down to the support level. Let's take it again to daily time frame for more understanding. All right, so this is the daily time frame of Gbpusd. Now, Gbpusd for the daily time frame, what else do we see? Let me add a level here so that we can know what to do exactly. Let me add a level here. All right, so on the daily time frame, what we can clearly see is what? Strong sell pressure from the resistance level. Strong one. So how are we picking our sell? Since the daily time frame is now above or is on what? Support level, we are going to wait for price to break below the support level before we can start looking for entries all the way down. Okay, we are on support level because the daily is an uptrend. And we want to sell. So we need to see price break below the daily support so that we can start looking for selling opportunities all the way down. Let's take it all the way to 4-hour and then complete it. Right, so this is the 4-hour time frame of GBP CHF. Let's take this off. Let's take this off. Right, so on the 4-hour time frame, like I said, we are expecting price to drop all the way down, break below this, retest before we can start selling all the way down. Okay, so this is the only stamping block in our way. This is the only thing in our way, preventing us from selling. So if price can break it and retest, then we can have a clear entry to sell. Okay, because if you look at the 4-hour time frame, you can also see that this is also another range or another consolidation. So price should be able to break it to the downside to give us what? A lower low, a lower high, and it will start selling all the way down, right? So that's it also for Gbpusd today. That's also for Gbpusd. US30 has been analyzed. So kindly go back to the live session. You're going to see USD CAD. I mean US30. We've analyzed it. Okay. I'm tired. I think I'm tired. Guys, I'm very tired. Let's end the live session over here. Okay. So those of you that just joined in, make sure to click the link that I've pinned on the live chat box to join the free signals, because each and every week I send one free signal for you guys to enjoy. Right. So make sure to click the link that I've pinned on the live or the link in the description of this video to join what? The free signals group. Right. So make sure to also subscribe as well, turn on the bell notification to get notified anytime I come on live or upload any video as well. Thank you all for joining in today. Remember to stay classy and trade classy. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning for another live session. Okay, so make sure that you're all clicking the link on the bio or the description or in this live chat to join the free signals. Thank you for joining in today. Stay classy and trade classy, guys. Thank you.